Welcome to this episode of the Comedy Defect podcast. My name is Winter, I'm a comedian, and this is my show. Those that are new to the show, welcome. Those that are old to the show, thanks for coming back, guys. This is episode 97, and I hope this one finds you well. Between two bank holiday weekends. We've had one, now we've got another one coming up. Isn't that great? And I hope this finds you full of positivity, motivation, and just like hope for what's coming on in the next few months. We've left winter behind, and now we're moving into spring, fully in spring now, and soon it's going to be summer. We get a bit of motivation and sort of like, it's something that spurs us on, that bit of extra light. We're like chickens. That bit of extra light gives us a bit of hope. I mean, I don't know if chickens have hope. I hope they. I wish they do. I wish that they do. I wish for any chickens that are out there listening, I hope you have some bit of joy in your life. Free range or not, I hope you've got something to look forward to, no matter what it is. You got something to kind of keep you going. I don't know where this is going, but look, that is that. So when we get the extra light, it just inspires us to do things. I think that's why people have so many big windows in their houses. The light comes in, they're like, oh, I can see the world out there. What I'm going to do today. So look, spring is happening. This is episode 97 with a very funny comedian. I gig with him many times around the country. He's brilliant. He does a show around all the festivals called Jew-O-Rama. He does that with Philip Simon, who's also been on this podcast, previous episodes. So this is with a very funny comedian this episode. The very funny Aaron Levene. Enjoy.
Hey Winter, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Yourself? How are you getting on?
Yeah, alright, can't complain.
That's good. So I've been looking you up online, and it's Aaron Charles Levene.
Yeah, that's my real middle name, which was given to me by my dad in case there was anti-Semitism. He thought Charles was British and I could just be Charles, but I'd still be Charles Levene. And that eventually formed itself into the joke where I say my parents called me Aaron Moses Abraham Levene.
That's right.
Which, you wouldn't call your kid that if you thought it was going to be another Holocaust.
Yeah, right.
Sort of morphed. But yeah, Charles is my middle name. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. We've started. We're recording. What's going on? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I am doing a few online gigs, mostly with Kyle, G&B, and I'm doing lots of courses and trying to manage my weight and in my first year of marriage.
Wow.
So
it's a lot to be getting on with, man, especially in lockdown. I guess you can focus on the relationship a fair bit with the downtime.
I got married in June in 2019. Sorry, July. Please edit that. July 2nd. No, wait, it wasn't July 2nd. Shit, that's wrong as well. July 14th. July 2nd's my missus's birthday. I'm already in trouble.
Mate, I know the stress of trying to remember it makes you forget it totally, doesn't it? It's like, God, pressure. Even though she's not there, she's there with you. She might be listening.
She's not. No, she's downstairs.
Great.
Yes, I got married and quick honeymoon off, and then her mum died in March of COVID, like really early, and then we couldn't get back, and she lives in America, so she's American, my missus. Well, not anymore. She got a British passport about a month ago. Now she can divorce me. No, it's fine. So she's not had a chance to grieve and all that. So I've been living with a grieving wife for the last 10 months.
That's difficult for everyone, isn't it? I mean, she can't get back to see her mum. That's put closure on the situation. That's tough.
Yeah, it's tricky, but she's doing really well given the situation, and it seems like we really like each other still, so that's good. Mate,
that's a bonus, isn't it? I mean, you get married, you find out what you don't like about the other person. Really, it generally happens, but.
My gag in my online set at the moment is that lockdowns accelerated the marriage process. I'm getting divorced in 2 weeks. I feel like it has made it more intense. I hope it hasn't accelerated what was a finite relationship, but it feels really good at the moment, so I'm pleased.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. You're just trying to salvage something from the wreckage that is the last couple of years. These online gigs, man, you're enjoying them?
Basically all Kyle gigs. I do about one to two a month, I suppose.
Yeah.
They're not paid, but he makes everyone turn on their cameras. So you've got 20 or 30 people, sort of, you can see them and they laugh. And it's good. Same sort of buzz. And I get to try out loads of rubbish because everyone knows me.
Great.
So I try out different personas, different material. For a while we did a couple of Jew-O-Rama gigs, me and Philip Simon, where we did our Jew-O-Rama Jewish comedy mixed bill thing online, but it didn't really work that well. The first one went okay, dropped off for the second one, normal malarkey. Yeah, it's tricky, man. I'm trying to write a kids book, a couple of kids books actually, one picture book and one for sort of 10 to 12-year-olds.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a lot. What are you up to?
Recording loads of podcasts, mate.
I've done a lot of podcasts. There's lots of people who are doing podcasts. I've just posted one on Facebook, which I did the other day for but a different context. She's doing a friend of my wife's doing a thing called Record of Change, where they interview different people from different walks of life to see how COVID has affected them, and then they interview them again 3 months later to see what's changed.
Yeah.
And it's all, I couldn't believe like when they asked me, because I went to their website and it was all like doctors and people saving children and people working for charities and just like also like and I got the Nobel Peace Prize and all this in their bio, and I'm like, what do you want me for? It doesn't make any sense.
Not one fucking knob gag in between them, like, you know what I mean? It's like, come on guys, get it together. Write a dick joke, just for God's sake. The world needs more dick jokes, you know?
Yeah, do it for the orphans that you're looking after.
Look, you know, you were the hero that they needed.
Exactly.
I've just been doing like a bit of acting and some voice acting as well, and just sort of like
voice acting, man. I've joined a couple of American voice acting teacher agency thing. Also, Nancy Cartwright's doing masterclass. There's like that online masterclass website. You can pay like 160 quid and you've got access to like Steve Martin teaching you comedy. Yeah. The same thing, but Nancy Cartwright teaching you voice work. I've done an evil villain for a cartoon, but they never got the money to get it animated. I recorded my bits for it as I was like the evil villain, Nice. I'll get you next time, and all that malarkey. But yeah, never got.
What was the name?
It was fun to do.
What was the name of your character?
Cannot remember. Baron something. a couple of years ago. Yeah.
That's it. It's fun though, isn't it? It's like you can do it from your home as well.
Yeah, this was pre-COVID, so now and I guess do you have to get special equipment? Have you got like soundproof, or do you just do it surrounded by a mattress or something?
I have got like a special thing that I made myself, and I will send you the link if you like. It's a really simple thing to make. It's just like a little sound box, and you got like you just speak into it. I'm using it right now actually.
Nice.
And
it sounds pretty good. Yeah.
It's it's absolutely night and day when it comes to the sound. I mean, I was like, yeah, it's fine, because I got some corporate stuff during last year, and I was like, okay, right, great, I've got the audition, I've nailed the first take of it. I said, okay, right, now we want you to do it for real. And I sent it to them, and they were like, oh, it's a bit echoey. And I was like, shit, because I had all the things that I needed to make this box, but I never fucking got around to making it, you know, I was like, so many other things happening. It's like, okay, right. So I sent them that first take, and like, oh, well, it's a bit echoey. So I was like, right, I'm making the box right fucking now. I mean, so got the fucking, it takes you 5 minutes to make this thing. And honestly, I will send you the link to how make it costs you like 20 quid, because all this stuff, the mechanics of all these voice boxes that you see advertised online, that, people stand in, you got like a Velcro thing, you don't need all that shit, it's just but they're like 700-800 quid, for the whole thing,
wow,
like, and like, so you got a little place for your iPad in there, whatever it is to connect. You don't need all that shit. You just need it like a fucking IKEA. I think it's a Durma box or something, whatever it is like that. But I'll send you the whole thing, right? And you just get some acoustic foam and you just put it all in there, and it's fucking so easy to make, and like it makes such a difference to your sound.
Okay, maybe I'll get my brother to make it. I'm not very good at DIY. Last time I did I've got a flat that I own that I rent out, and I repainted the bathroom in oil paints.
Right.
And chucked them down the drain. I didn't know you're not supposed to do that with the leftover paint. Don't pour it down the drain. Blocked up, a couple of £1,000 worth of pipes. Needed pulling out, and then I tried to change the lock, and I couldn't get it all lined up, like ruined the door frame.
Right.
I'm not doing DIY. I just like anything that involves precision. And a box, I should imagine. Even flat pack furniture, the drawers will come off wonky. I can't do it, so I'll find someone to do it for me.
No, mate, I swear, like, honestly, this is like literally, it's like you put foam in a box, and that is more or less it. You just cut them. It's okay, right? I think maybe, like, from what you just told me there, like, I mean, like, I don't want to try and I don't want you to lose a finger. For like Winter said, it was easy. I mean, like, I've only got one hand now. I've got a hook. This is great. That's what I've been doing, mate. I've just been trying to kind of focus on something else, because I'm yourself. I did a few online gigs, and I really, that one you're doing sounds like a really kind of decent open mic night that you go to, and like at least you've got 20 comedians there kind of like having to sort of be engaged rather than like, because they're on camera, rather than actually sit there, and they've got their notes with them so they can relax and not focus it, put it all in their heads, if you know what I mean.
Because I've got ADD already, so it's like the space, you know. So I've always had, in the last few years, I've got a whiteboard downstairs in the kitchen, and I use that even just for daily tasks, really. And some long-term tasks as well. But it just keeps me like if it's on the list, I tend to do it. I had a gag about that in my set, a new one about the missus taking advantage of that, because I do it on autopilot, don't I? So that's why she's got a new dress and a new dildo, that sort of thing.
The weird things keep arriving on Amazon Prime. You know, like, exactly. Why? I don't remember buying this. What? This doesn't help me with my new show. Well, you should try it, mate. Maybe it'll add something to it. Give a bit of energy. You know, that's it. It'll keep you
keep me perky.
And when did you start comedy then, man?
2014.
Right.
I got degrees in acting and television production.
Oh, right. Where'd you get that from?
Well, the acting degree was from New York, Pace University, and television production, Ravensbourne College in Kent, which I got when I was 19 and I'm 46. So it was pre-digital. Well, more or less, we're just starting to go digital. So all my skills are null and void. So I can edit, but with a razor blade and tape. I can use a 3-machine beater as well, but no one knows what that is even is anymore.
I know what that is, because I did. You're the second person I've spoken to who has nearly got the same degree as I've got. I have got BA in digital video. I just got under the wire. I Indiana Jones that hat, that digital hat from underneath that closing door. So that was So did you
even like they had a pneumatic, and they did have a non-linear offline editing system, but it was Lightworks, which was the wrong one. If they taught me Avid, I might have been in business. But anyway, it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's all Adobe now anyway. And then I taught myself Final Cut, which is now null and void as well, more or less.
Oh man! So what is next then? What's after Final Cut now? What is it?
Adobe.
Is it Adobe all the way now?
Sure. Yeah, it's all the old Adobe stuff. That's what they're all using. But anyway, the point is, I got my acting degree, and I didn't like. I actually graduated top of my class, but I'm not a very good actor. So all the other actors are rubbish. I'm kind of hammy, and I don't like feeling emotions, which is what you got to do when you're an actor.
Connect.
It's fundamental. I don't like all the emotional roller coaster stuff that you have to go through for Chekhov and all that bollocks. But what I did like was playing Caliban in The Tempest. And what I liked was getting laughs, and that sent me down the comedy path. I was just like, I just want to make people laugh. One of my best mates is a guy called Josh Howie. So when I moved back to the UK, I went to see him, and I was like, dude, how do you even start becoming a stand-up? And he was like, well, do a course. He said, your life story is mental enough that you'll have enough material. You just got to figure out how to do it, because life story, got no balls, everyone died of cancer, I had cancer, the whole thing, the raised ab fab, a bit sort of linked with Josh. And so he's a dude, he headlines at the Comedy Store, has in the past, and he knows what he's talking about. But he didn't tell me what course to do, because he was just too far above all the courses and stuff to know what courses were worth doing. So I just found one online, and it ended up being Kate Smurthwaite. She's terrifying. Which worked for me, because you don't want to. I don't know if you know this about Kate, but she's like 3 generations above her are all, I think, headmistresses on the maternal side, and you definitely get that vibe from her. She makes you do homework. I'm very bad procrastinator. And she taught me the basics. She taught me how to hold a microphone, about status, about not punching down, callbacks, where all the stuff you need to know that you can learn by talking to people, but it was all just neatly packaged.
Is she a bit like Sarah Connor? Like, does she have like now just read this quote, there's no fate but what you make, like this? She feels like that's the kind of like headmistress, kind of like powerful woman vibe. That's what I'm getting. She wasn't doing pull-ups and when you went to the room or anything like that.
It's not too much like that with Kate. I mean, she does have a sense of humour. I quite like Kate. Is
that course still running?
I don't know. It's at City Academy, I think.
Right.
It might be. She might still be teaching it. I don't know. It was for a few years. I met quite a few comedians on there. Davina Bentley went on it. I met her. I did two lots of did the advanced one as well. I met Davina on that, and a couple of other guys who no longer in comedy, but there's like one guy I do like short comedy films for. I act in his film sometimes, and he's doing quite well. He ended up editing. He's the special effects editor in all the Kingsman movies and a couple of Mission Impossibles and yada yada. Another guy who started a pig wash, which is just it's funny. It's a good Facebook thing, you know.
Okay. When did you actually do your first gig then?
Well, that would have been the showcase. So that was in the March 2014. Showcase for that course, which was in the comedy pub, which is next door, down next to the comedy store. So you're like you're in the pub next door, in the basement.
Great.
And it was really fun. And obviously, it went brilliantly because your first gig always goes brilliantly. Yeah. My second gig was at Pear Shaped.
Oh God.
Where things went pear shaped, as you can imagine. So, and then it became Pear Shaped was my favourite place to go because it was like, I'm going to die anyway there. So, like, if I can possibly not die, because I think Russell Hicks was on that day, and he was the only one who didn't die, but that's because he's Russell Hicks.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's a way of doing it. If you can get a laugh at Pear Shaped, I think you can get a laugh anywhere. Unfortunately, it's dead, but I do like Brian and Crystal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's an interesting gig, that one. All right, yeah, I did it a couple of times. Yeah, for sure. It's certainly you have to go to it to see what it's like because you can't explain it really. It's just so it's
fundamental, and it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But when it did, it was vital to meeting certain people. You met John Sharp there and Dangerous T. Yeah. And you met all the characters, and you've learned what to do and what not to do, sort of thing.
Right. That's right.
So it's just like those sort of gigs ground you in the comedy open mic culture, and that's necessary for you. It's a family in a way. It's necessary to keep you going. Go there, you meet them. Hello, that's it. Joke around a bit, run away.
Yeah. Wow. So like you've been going since.
Are you married, Winter?
Yeah. So I got married about in 2016 when I was like, right, okay, I need to go at comedy, fucking go for it and see what happens. Yeah. And my wife was like, yeah, do it, go for it. I mean, I was like, are you mad? You want how do you want to eat? How do you want to pay for the wedding? So I was like, okay. So we got married, and I love being married. I know it's kind of sad, cliche, but I'm a better person. I'm a lot more sort of in touch with.
It does change you. I don't know why. It's just a piece of paper, isn't it? But it somehow it like makes you a bit more complete or something. I don't know what the hell it is.
I know it sounds so like hammy, like and just like kind of like this makes me more complete. Oh my God, what was the thing before?
God,
but you know what, right? It's I guess in a way you're just not living for yourself anymore. You've got someone else to kind of like pull you out of the maybe a mind loop that you possibly could potentially go on and down into depression. Basically, like, I think it's a bit like a trapeze artist, isn't it? Really, it's like you got to trust the other person, and hopefully they can get you to the other side of whatever it is mental situation you've got, by just holding your hand. But it's been good, man. I just been and my wife's into all like crystals and all this kind of stuff and holistic healing, and I guess she kind of grounds me, mate, in many different ways, and when I'm kind of like being a bit mental, she goes, look, just go and have a nap, for fuck's sake, just go and have a nap, all right? You just
nice. I love it when the wife tells me to have a nap. It's good.
Mate, that's it. I had the same that actually happened today, and I was like, God, I've got loads to do today. I'm just doing all this shit. I'm like, fucking I've got to go for a run now. It's like, you look how tired you are. Do you need to go for a run? Yeah, you can't even go for a run. You won't even enjoy. No, but no, you don't understand. I've got to do it. I've got to do an Ironman tomorrow. I'm like, I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? It's like, COVID. It's just like frustrated and just annoyed at everything. But I recommend it, mate. I fucking recommend it. You are. So I mean, there you are. You're in, mate. You're fucking there, mate. First year is great. Getting everything together. What's your like at your house like? I've never been to your house. Is it like? Do you live in like a Spartan sort of vibe, or is it like corners of things piled up?
Somewhere in between. It's fairly chaotic.
Oh, nice.
It's fairly chaotic, but it's sort of spacious and modern at the same time.
Oh, nice.
And every now and then we'll do a room, and that room will be nice for about a month, and it will go to pot again. So it's all right. I've had to learn to tidy and stuff. So.
Right. You as you get home from a gig or something, you just like strewn clothes from the door to like whatever room you're gonna just nap.
I just find myself not wearing much, and I don't remember how I got myself into that situation. Like I'm like, honey, where's my t-shirt? I don't know. You're just always naked. She says.
Yeah, it's my cave. I'm allowed to be naked here. This is what it is. This is what I am.
Just chill out, man.
So how many shows you done then, Aaron? Festival shows and stuff, you know?
Edinburgh's. I mean,
Edinburgh's.
I suppose. I mean, I've been going to Edinburgh every year. I went every year apart from one, so 5 maybe, 4 or 5. Yeah. I mean, with my own show, I've not done it yet. I have, but they've been mixed bills. I've taken up mixed bills. I've done a 200 with Si Deaves in Brighton. So yeah, I don't know if you're including Brighton as well as Ed.
Yeah, you go for it. No, all festivals. Like, I mean, if you've written a new show for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at Jew-O-Rama, we've done at a few festivals. I don't know, so maybe 12 or 13 if you want to.
12 shows. Have you written 12 separate shows, or is it just like?
Oh God, no. These are all like cheating. They're all mixed bills. They're all mixed. They're either mixed bills that I've put on, like with different themes. So like Jew-O-Rama's one, which is different Jewish comedians. Relatively Normal's another one I've done where comedians come and talk about how they're all insane and this is cheaper than therapy because their families made them crazy, hence Relatively Normal. Right. And then I did split bills with Philip Simon, Andy Zapp, Si Deaves, a couple of different people. Yeah. So yeah, and like over different times.
I think, are you still doing the Relatively Normal?
Gilf and the Buju I did with.
Oh yeah.
Andy Zapp. Relatively Normal, no, that's gone. But Jew-O-Rama I do with Philip Simon, and that's successful. And we've got a really good location for that in the Fringe, where if it ever happens again, and the pub like us. I can't remember the name of the bloody place. It's right on the Royal Mile in Southbridge, on the corner. And it's so good. It's in the afternoon, mixed bill, and we get repeat customers each year.
That's great.
So, yeah, their Jew-O-Rama's got a name now, so people seem to like it.
It's a great, just like, you come take your best stuff up and have fun with it, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been working on other shows, but like I said, I'm a procrastinator. I've got a show about my life called Birthright, which is, I inherited money, but I also inherited neurosis and cancer. Yeah. So it's sort of about that.
Well, you can't have the good without the bad, can you? This is it, man.
What would you rather have? Enough money to be comfortable and live on and do comedy without, as I've said in a few other podcasts, I'm lucky in that I don't need comedy to make a living. I've got some money that I inherited that I put into property and into stocks and shares, and I'm doing okay with it. And I feel bad for all the comedians, and their livelihood's just gone like that.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? I've thrown myself.
You asked a question. I was like, would you rather have all the money?
And no balls. Would you rather have and no balls and probability of dying of cancer by your 50? By the time you're 50, or would you rather have no money and that was the question. That was the idea behind it. But it's hard to make funny, and I'm not very comfortable talking about it.
No, fair man. No. Thanks for sharing that, mate. I mean, in fairness, right. The other side of having the money to pursue comedy is just really another thing to destroy yourself with, isn't it, really? Because comedy doesn't really love you back so much.
I'm not good enough to be making a living from it. I'm sort of semi-professional, and I'm aware of that. I can see guys who are better than me. You've got to be so good to make a living at it. And, I do 20s. I do pay 20s, but... £400 in a month would be a really good month, and that would not be a living. £400 a month.
No, it's the mental kind of like gymnastics you constantly have to do to stay buoyant with comedy anyway. Just because
I don't know.
No,
no, I think I'm quite weird in that because I don't need the money, and I think this is maybe why I haven't progressed. Apart from the fact that I'm not that good, I'm okay. I'm solid, I would say. Although I still believe I can get better. Maybe that's the mental gymnastics you need. You need to pretend that you can think you can get better.
Of course.
All the time. That's what you need to, and maybe that's an act of disbelief, or maybe you can get better. I don't know. But I did a lot of Jeff called me Mr. Mirth. So mirth control. And if I can I was doing 15,000 miles a year driving for Jeff. Pretty much. I was doing 3-4. Week to some weeks, just driving to different parts of the country unpaid for a 10-minute spot. I'd never had to get myself up for it. I loved it. I loved being in a car with Matt Price or whoever, Dave DeSonos, or Cogsy, had a couple of car rides with Cogsy. I like get a car ride with Cogsy, man. That's so good. Incognito, for people who don't know. It's just like you go there, and then eventually he started giving me hosting roles. I can't remember what it's called. MC.
Compare. Yeah, great.
Yeah, compare. Yeah, I haven't done it in so long. I've forgotten what the job title is. That took 3 years of unpaid gigs, and and if that has not dispirited me, I don't think anything will, because it's dispirited most other people. Most people do 6 months with mirth and give up.
That's it. That's it. You got to really put in those hours towards Plymouth. Get down to those Plymouth gigs. 3.5 hours down there. I did one with was it Simon King once in the Annabelles. You do 3.5 hours down there. Drove down there, did the gig, got back. They
don't even give you breakfast for Annabelles.
Mate, we didn't even stop for the break. We didn't even stop for the day. No, we went straight home. We went straight home for that one, mate. I was like, so that's like a 7 hour. Yeah, 7 hours round trip, mate. Oh, mate, that was a long time.
I took Simon King down to that same gig. It's a stripper bar, right? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. It's the same gig because he does that half hour at the end, and then you do all the quiz in the middle and all that.
That's right.
Yeah, I've done the same one a couple of times, but we did stay overnight, I think.
Yeah, I did the longest. Okay, here we go. We're going to compare longest trip journeys in the car now. I did 5 hours to Newquay one night. Susan Murray, Connor Drum in the car. Is it the Cribbin Bar in Newquay? We drove down there 5 hours, 5 hours back, 10-hour round trip. Mate, no one died. I smashed it, mate. I think I've won the.
Nice. I maybe I've done that. I've done Newquay though a couple of times, and I've done Sunderland round trip.
Nice.
There's a hotel with a conservatory, and I've done. If I'd driven it, it would have been the longest one, but I sort of did it as a whole part. I had one in Dumbarton for Jeff.
Nice.
But I didn't drive it round trip. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You've been on for gone a while now. Then 6 years or so. Now, what's the worst gig you've ever done? You don't have to give any names.
Gig I've ever done. In terms of the quality of the gig, or
no,
in terms
just
of how
like, I'm looking for crazy stuff that's happened at gigs. Like I'm just looking for the out there shit. You're like, what happened? Like, how did that develop or devolve into this situation?
Well, I suppose I wouldn't say it's the worst gig I've done because I actually quite enjoyed it. Perversely, there's a mirth control gig, Bournemouth.
Oh, Jaeger's
the Cameo.
Yeah.
The Cameo nightclub.
Cameo, sorry.
But it's got a name. I think it's called Jokers or something. Cameo nightclub, and that's all hens and
stags and stuff.
Stags and hens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I sometimes MC that and sometimes do the open spot. This particular occasion, I think I was the open spot. Yeah, because I would remember. No, Joe Romero might have been the MC that night. Someone was on stage. The dude with 6 kids who's quite posh. It was a military stag do, and they got on stage and nicked the microphone off of him, and threatened to got him in an arm lock and all that malarkey.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
Yeah.
And hard to get back under control, but it did. By the time I went on, it was fine. I don't know.
Wow, they'd already got someone in an arm lock.
Yeah, and I think I think a couple of people had been chucked out, and it was calmed down a bit. Yeah, mad gigs. Just loads of gigs where they're just like, you're not funny, or that you get yelled at, that sort of thing. You're not,
What's your response generally? What do you do? What's your like? You don't tell me the killer one. What do you like? Take them on, or just go, or do you just absorb?
I tend to absorb. I sometimes do a bad hack put down.
What's the go-to? Go on.
Yeah, that's what your mum said after I fucked her.
Right, nice.
Standard. Yeah, Or sometimes I'll play the sympathy role and I go, yeah, well, you've got your balls at least. That's all. You didn't have to have cancer, mate.
Yeah.
You try being funny.
Was it like so? You've been finalist for a few competitions, mate. You've been like finalist for, was it now the new Act of the Year in Bath?
That was a mirth control gig. I think just Jeff felt guilty and he persuaded all the judges to get me through to the final because I've done so many mirth gigs. Yeah. But I came second to Cali in my heat. So, it was quite competitive. If you're coming second to Cali Beaton, that's not bad. Yeah, I sort of finished in the middle of the pack in the final. And Jewish Comedian of the Year, I've been in the final. And they they narrow it down from about 40 people. So
Wow,
it's not bad. I've been to the top. I've been in the top 3 of that twice and knocked out once in an early round.
Like, I asked you like when your first gig was, and do you remember the exact date?
March the... Again, wrong year. That was a new key gig. That was in March 2015.
Nice.
Let's have a look.
Is that the one? Is that the Caribbean Bar as well, or was you a different gig?
Don't know. I think it was some sort of steakhouse.
Oh yes, that's because they got like an upper floor to it.
Yeah, it was an upper floor. I was the MC for that, and I'd never MC'd before. And Sonos was in the car with me, and Martin moved to South Africa, and he's like a lanky dude.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, and he was like, and they were all giving me notes on how to MC, and I basically learned how to MC it in the car on the way down. I did really well, actually.
Great.
But Martin, the thing is, people always give you their advice. So, of what they're like. So, Sonos is like, be Canadian and dry and talk about cats. And, Martin was like, you've got to throw shapes. You've got to throw body shapes. That's only funny for him because he's fucking lanky and looks funny when he throws body shapes, Yeah. Chris Head, downstairs. Oh, I did a Chris Head course as well. That's birth control.
I might have done that with you. Did I do that with you years ago?
Feasibly, yeah. Pear-shaped gig 1. So I can tell you when my pear-shaped gig was. That was the 12th of March 2014.
Right.
So that would have been my first gig, my first non-showcase gig. Right. And I suspect my showcase was... Okay, so here we go, 26th of February.
Right, 26th of February. Right.
If you want the official first date,
that's
thank
great.
You for making research. I've now know. 26th of February, so it'll be 2014. So is that 7 years in about a month? Jesus Christ. And I'm still not making a living out of it. I gave myself 2 years, and I'm a bit like it's just 3 out of 5. I can't stop. I haven't made it yet, but it doesn't matter. 7 years in, I'm the new dangerous team, man. I'm just going to be doing open mics forever.
For your first gig, what was your first joke you wrote?
On Kate's course, she said, "What's the most interesting thing about you?" And I said, "Well, I've got one fake ball." And she was like, "Well, that's your opening material then." So I suspect it was about the balls. It was probably the cork ball joke. That was probably my first joke, which is a true story about when I was 19 and I had one of my balls removed. I got the other one out later. The surgeon said, "Do you want cork or plastic?" And I thought cork would be bad because it floated in the bathtub, and if you want to drown yourself, that's not how you want to be found. So that was probably the first joke I wrote. I would have thought.
Great.
Yeah, and then after about 3 gigs, where all my first gigs, people yelled Uncle Fester at me, so then I had to write Uncle Fester material.
Yeah.
So that would have been the cancer stuff and the Fester stuff, and it's still in there really, which is bad, but that's what it is.
Okay, so that was your first joke, right? The Fester thing as well. I mean, because my name's Winter, I've had for ages, like, I go on stage and go, "Oh, winter is coming" and stuff, and so
God.
but they think they think it's your best joke, isn't it? Like that you've ever I've just done his best joke. That's it. He's fucked now. And so, like, you had to disarm him with that straight away. I might look like Uncle Fester straight away, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, someone generally will yell it out. I have to. I don't do it straight away now. It's buried in the middle, but it's normally. It seems to be fine. I mean, I ask this question to a lot of people, right? I say, okay, well, Sean Mio goes on stage, right? He's like a acerbic, bitter, kind of angry comedian, yeah? When he goes on stage, he says that he sees himself as like a gun for hire, going around the country, basically, like a outlaw. Yeah.
Okay, with yourself, Aaron, what do you see yourself as?
I see myself as...
Could be a job, it doesn't have to be aggressive.
No, I mean, I see myself as like a purveyor of Jewish culture, of neurosis and self-deprecation and that sort of thing,
Okay.
So I'm like, a lot of people have never met a Jew. I've got so many people.
Oh my God.
Seriously, like I go even when we were doing Jew-O-Rama at the Leicester Comedy Festival. There were like a bunch of people there, and they just came up. We didn't know who Jewish people were, but we heard you were funny, and we wanted to come and see what it was about. Like the number of people that come up to me after gigs and go, "You're the first Jewish person I've ever met or ever seen in real life." Sometimes they'll tell me anti-Semitic jokes just as a way of connecting with me. But
yes, great, get on side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm the token Jew, the representative of this is my life. This is different. It's a different viewpoint. I'm unique as a person, right? So I hope go on there, and I'm I'm not confident. I'm not high status, and I do my sort of self-deprecating shtick. That's my thing, and I hope to make people laugh and feel better about themselves because I'm such an appalling way. So, at least I'm not him. That's fine. That's what I want people to feel, I suppose. But also, I hadn't thought about it like that, or that's funny, you know. Just gives them a new viewpoint.
Okay.
Express a viewpoint, right?
You're Jewish. What is the difference between a Jewish person and a non-Jewish person?
Well, there just aren't very many of us. I mean, what's the difference? Culturally, there's a lot of similarities with a lot of things, right? But I was raised, what I eat, my sense of humour, the sort of. I've been raised by a typical. My mum wasn't a typical Jewish mother by any sense of the imagination, but she still wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
It's that immigrant thing. There's only I think 180,000 Jews in the country.
Yeah.
That's less than 0.5% of the population. There's more Sikhs than there are Jews. And I used to have a joke about that. I used to go, and yet it feels like we're everywhere. This is a joke. Alfie did this stereotypes night where I played the fat Jew, obviously. I wrote this joke for that. Jews and Muslims are everywhere because Muslims are only 4% of the population. So that's what I used to say. Muslims are 4% of the population and Jews are 0.5% of the population, and yet it feels like they're everywhere. That's because Jews control the media and we're like, the Muslims are coming.
Great. No, doesn't every family really want their kid to be a doctor or like a lawyer? Okay, a lawyer is a big one, isn't it? Is a lawyer another massive thing in Jewish families?
Lawyer, doctor, lawyer, accountant. Yeah.
Okay, right, accountant, right.
Yeah.
The thing is, the only thing that's missing from the Catholic side is like a priest. Isn't it?
No, there's a lot of similarities between Catholicism and my wife's Catholic, more or less.
Yeah.
And I've heard it said that the only difference between Catholicism and Judaism is Judaism's guilt and Catholicism's fear. Yeah, right. But I don't know if that's true or not.
And you could say to your wife, "Look, you took what you know from us. This is what."
Because we're Old Testament. Yeah, that's it. I would say culturally Judaism and Catholicism are quite similar, especially in multiply as much as you can and all that stuff. So lots of big families and especially with the more religious types. What it comes with? That I don't think that many cultures, it comes with the Holocaust, basically, and not just the Holocaust, but thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people trying to wipe us out over, just Hitler was just like the latest one, a long line, which is what makes us neurotic. Why are we so fearful? Because people keep trying to kill us. And that's what it comes with, that kind of inherent. But we're idiots because it's built into the Bible that we keep telling people we're the chosen people. Yeah, God chose us. I mean, a lot of religions do that, but don't just say you're the chosen people and God hates everyone else. It's just going to annoy people. Yeah. So,
when you've done Jew-O-Rama, have you had any people turn up to deliberately destroy you?
No, they've left. In one of the first venues we did it in, a couple of people scratched swastikas in the wood in our performance bits. So we've had some of that, but they don't do it. They do it behind your back. They don't come in and make anti-Semitic comments. They've done you get a few things like last time I did Jew-O-Rama, we had. And it was a bucket show. Just I want change, typical Jew, that sort of thing. When you can't keep the change, you Jew, that sort of thing. Just with the money and all that stuff. A few little comments, but never during the show because you're in a room probably full of Jews with a bunch of Jewish comedians, and I think you've got to be quite brave or an idiot to have a go. So
you're just basically connecting with the people that don't know about Jews and showing them who you are and what you they're not that scary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just I'm just a dude, right? Yeah. Not that scary. This is who I am.
Are you Orthodox Jew or are you don't eat bacon?
I'm not religious in the slightest, right. And I'm certainly not. I got raised. I went to a Jewish boarding school. I was supposed to be the religious one, and I rejected it all, and I became a Buddhist Jew, which I talk about. A Buddhist Jew. Right, it's cool. The antidote. Judaism's all about a lot of it's neurotic and holding on to things and being a doctor and you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and Buddhism's just chill the fuck out and be nice to people. And it's sort of the antidote. It makes you release. There's an old joke, the difference between a Jewish mother and a Rottweiler. Rottweiler eventually lets go. And, Buddhism's all about letting go, isn't it? So, you know. So, yeah, no, I'm more of a Buddhist than I am a Jew. But even it's not a religion. It's just a bit of practice, isn't it? A bit of mindfulness.
Yeah.
A bit of meditation. That's it. I don't like religion generally. But it's a USP. So, you know, fuck it. You got to go with what you got. Look, what am I? I'm fat, I'm bald, I've got no balls, I'm Jewish. There aren't that many of us. Yeah. I was raised by Chinese, Malaysian, lesbian, martial art expert nannies. Yeah. I've got... My mum was in the fashion PR business. You got to do what makes you unique. You got to do what makes you you, you know, and tell people about it.
Damn right.
Because your mum didn't love you enough and give you enough reassurance to... My mum never reaffirmed my identity to me as a child and said it was okay for me to be me, so I have to get it from a bunch of strangers, like all comedians.
That's true. Fill that void until it's...
Fill the void, man. Yeah. Fill the void. Get the buzz. Drive 400 miles for 10 minutes of love from strangers because your mum didn't love you. You know, I'll do it. I've had 25 years of therapy and I'm still doing it.
Oh, mate. Or she loved the wrong part of you. No, don't love that part. Love this part, you know, that's it. Or the image of you that you potentially could be. But I'm not going to be that. So, well, okay, well, you're not going to be that. So I do love you.
She didn't love any bit of me. She dressed me, she fed me, she controlled what I ate. Yeah. I had no say in my life at all as a child. That's just my life, isn't it?
Oh well, that's it. Well, comedy is the remedy for unloved children everywhere.
Mate. Certainly something. Yeah.
So, like, do you eat bacon?
Yeah, sure, I love it.
Good work. Nice one. That's fine. I mean, I can edit this out. I could just, like, you know...
No, you can tell people. Look, there's a book called... there's a guy called... do you know the film... The guy who wrote Cavalier and Clay, Michael Chabon, and he wrote a thing about... Anyway, he wrote a book about Jews, because he's Jewish. Actually, Amazing Cavalier and Clay is Jewy as well. He wrote Wonder Boys. There we go.
Right.
You know that film? With,
no. The Wonder... No. I know the Wonder Years. I don't know the Wonder Boys.
No. Wonder Boys. It's got Michael Douglas and Robert Downey Jr. in it, and it's about writers. It's brilliant.
I'll check that out.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he also wrote a book called Yiddish... I'm very rambly now. He wrote a book called The Yiddish Policeman's Union, which imagined an alternate Israel. And it's a film noir murder mystery. So... Briefly, it was proposed before Israel was formed. It was proposed in the League of Nations or the United Nations or wwhatever it was at the time, that Alaska be given to the Jews as like a safe place. So Alaska could have been Israel basically if history had gone that way. So like he imagined what that would have been like and set a film noir there, and it's just lines of Jews lining up to eat crispy bacon. It's the best place to find Jews, man. Jews love bacon more than anything because it's forbidden and tastes so good.
Great, that's it. The best way. It's like when you drink, you know, it's like before you were legal age to drink, it's like that was the best drinks you ever had. And then
exactly.
That's it.
Yes, but then you realise you were drinking Diamond White and it wasn't so good.
So Alaska, would you want Alaska? That was a pretty cold place to be in and pretty sparse.
No, it's not great.
I think you lucked out, man. I think you lucked out.
I think so too. Well, on the other hand, we're surrounded by 7 countries, all of who want to destroy Israel.
But think of the weather.
You think of the weather. That's true.
I mean, what a good day.
I mean, do you know it's smaller? Do you know it's physically smaller than Wales?
Oh, right.
What a lot of fuss is made about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's a tiny country. Jesus, what a lot of fuss. Just piss a load of people off. It's like a little thorn in someone's paw. It's a tiny country, man.
In comedy, when is the moment that you kind of went, oh my God, I don't know where the rest of this comedy thing is going, but right now, it's like the zenith of my comedy career right now. It's here. This is the moment that I feel that I have grown and metamorphosized into this comedian, you know, and the comedian that I nearly want to be, and I feel like I am, do you know? Chrysalis moment, there we go, I've got it summed up.
One moment like that, I mean, recently, right before COVID, I was starting to get paid 20s and I was smashing them. That's kind of where I was at. I felt like I got this now. I know how to have a good gig fairly consistently no matter what the crowd is. And I was being given these gigs by he doesn't like people talking about it. So
Fine.
he thinks people are going to nick his idea. So,
Right.
but basically, I had regular low paid gigs, 20s,
Great.
and they do those gigs once a year and all over the country. So they're kind of 1 yearly gigs.
Great.
But he had 30 or 40 of them. So you're doing like one a week.
Great.
And they tend to be in like converted brewing halls or like in a theatre, in a cinema, that sort of thing. They're just like really nice locations.
Good videos.
And they've never had a gig there before, and they're all really up for it.
Great.
And they're just brilliant gigs. I love doing those, man. I love doing those gigs. They're great.
And so you felt that's the moment, like, yeah, man, this is it's clicking now. Yeah, that's it. I'm just in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean that, and and Top Secret. Yeah, doing Top Secret.
Nice.
Like smashing it at Top Secret. Just love it. You can't beat, like, I was just like, oh yeah. Then they didn't invite me back. I don't know why, but smashed it. Got a good video from it.
Great.
Yeah, and it was so hard to get in there, man. But yeah, like nice gigs like that. I just started doing things like Top Secret and the Camellia in Brighton and places like that. I love those gigs, man. They're just nice. They're just nice. You're in front of proper crowd, professional comedy.
Yeah.
It just feels right, man.
Set up right. Oh, the room.
Yeah, set up right. It's room. I got so freaked out when I went to the Camellia because I had a dressing room to go into. I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, why are you being so nice to me?
Why are you being so nice to me? It's freaky. Why are you keeping me separate from the crowd? I didn't like it, actually.
Yeah. What? Are there no chairs I need to organise? I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yes, exactly.
Why?
Do you mean I don't need to buy a drink?
Oh, man. What have you been doing, apart from, like, you getting married and, like, you know, to kind of, like, keep you focused on the comedy, like, you know, to stop yourself getting lost in the doldrums?
Driving Lynn Ruth Miller places, that's fun, man. But I just saw a photo of Lynn Ruth. I love Lynn Ruth so much, man.
She's great.
She's
80, 85, is it 85 now? 85.
I think she's around 85 now, yeah. And,
wow.
I take her, you take her into a service station and people recognise her from First Dates. They're like, I love you from First Dates. So cool. What am I on about? What did you ask me?
I asked you, like, so how are you like, I'm trying
to write kids. I'm trying to write a couple of kids' books.
Right. Do you mind talking about them, or what's it about?
Yeah, sure. I got two. They're just sort of very loose ideas at the moment. Typical ADD. Look, I've got attention deficit disorder. So, I was a mini cab driver for 6 months. I worked in a bookshop for a year. I worked in telesales for a year. I've never sat still. The comedy is easily the thing I've managed to keep with the longest, and that's mostly because it changes all the time.
Yeah.
And who knows whether I'll actually have the stick with it enough to finish a book or an Edinburgh show or anything like that. But at the moment, the picture book is about counting sheep, the world of counting sheep.
Right.
When you go to sleep, you count sheep, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like Wreck-It Ralph. There's this whole universe. They just exist to put humans to sleep. And there's one particular sheep number 5, is purple and belches rainbows.
Cool.
But wakes everyone up because, like, you count. First sheep's white and fluffy, the second sheep's white and fluffy. Yeah. This sheep, why are you purple and belching rainbows? You're going to wake the kids up, man, who are trying to sleep. Yeah. So he just wants to fit in. And that's going to be some sort of teach kids how to count picture book, but also accept people for who they are type thing.
Nice.
The other one for older kids, I'm not sure what the hell that's about. Dark matter, and not Philip Pullman, but quantum physics, and there's a soul bunny who likes to eat the souls of humans because they're richer than animal souls, because humans want to know what the point of living is and what the point of existence is and question everything. Right. And the very act of humans being alive is pain, and that makes their souls much richer to consume.
Oh, wow. And
the soul bunny knows the answer and to life, the universe, and everything, and it isn't 42. And that's kind of how it starts. Oh, okay. So got to go from
Interesting.
there.
All right, cool. So the soul bunny is it likes to eat human souls, and then it knows
souls.
So so humans are constantly chasing this soul bunny, trying to. Do the humans know that the soul bunny is knows the answer, or are they just prey? Humans are just prey then.
they're just prey at the moment, but who knows? It's just very early doors.
Interesting.
Isn't it? So
great.
It's just a. I don't think the Soul Bunny's going to be the main character either. I think there's going to be other stuff going on, but I just like it's a starting point. Who knows if he'll come to anything?
Cool.
They're like very early. Both things are very early doors. I'm doing courses, and let's just say I'm in week 2 of both of them. In fact, my course for the Soul Bunny one starts in about an hour, so an hour and a half.
What's your what other courses you do? What course are you doing then? So it's a writing course.
Yeah, these are like proper. So I'm doing a bunch of like master classes with just videos you watch.
Yeah.
And then David Williams has got like a BBC Maestro bunch of videos you can watch where he talks about how he writes his books, and he genuinely does write his books. As far as I can tell, I can't find any evidence that his books are ghostwritten anywhere.
Yeah.
But this is like a proper. It's city lit. So it's like an online. It's me and 12 to 15 grannies essentially, who want to write books for their kids. Right. Essentially, I've got a funny screenshot of me just sitting surrounded by 15 grannies in Zoom.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, and a slightly flamboyant, gentle gay man who speaks as you would expect a children's book author to speak.
Brilliant.
What you do is you just write and you don't stop. You let your unconscious go. No, it's really good. I'm actually really enjoying the course. It's an online Zoom class. It's not just watching a video, so there's an interactive element, and you have to workshop and go into breakout rooms and yada yada.
Cool.
I'm really enjoying it, and it keeps me busy.
That's
and
great.
Doing my homework and that sort of thing.
You've put Jew-O-Rama to the side for now, and you're doing what's the other one you're doing now?
Yeah, it really only works as a live show. So that's Kyle. G&B gigs.
Yeah,
he's
so
got some other. And I do various other gigs for Kyle as well. Sometimes he's got some mysterious gig that he doesn't want to. He's not allowed to talk about. So he says, "I've got a mystery gig in February that I'm doing. I don't know what that is. Like early Feb. We'll see what that is. But that's my next gig, I think.
So the next one is February, yeah. So another Zoom stuff. At least you're keeping sharp.
It'll be Zoomy, yeah. So they're sort of like once or twice a month, basically.
That's great.
Did you ever do any acting classes or anything?
I did an acting class with Sylvia Young. Was it?
Oh wow.
About 2 years ago. All the comedy kind of built into that because it all kind of came up together confidence-wise and a whole lot and performing. And the improv, did the improv level 1 and 2 with Monkey Toast, which is no longer with us anymore. And that went under. So I was like, I wanted to do up to level 5, but when it starts up again, when everything kind of like thaws, I might go back and do my up to level 5 because I really enjoyed it, man. It was like, it was so fun. And I
kind of enjoy improv, but they don't like fat people.
Oh.
They're really fattest. And I say that just because all the bloody warm-ups are so hard. I pulled my back out doing the first one. I did just run out. I did one. What was it? Barry from. I like those gigs as well. And the Angel, the Camden comedy.
Barry Ferns.
Barry Ferns' gigs are great. But he was running for Second City, I think it was. Is it Second City? Yeah. Second City Improv in London.
Yeah.
I did Second City, pulled my back out, and then I went and did another Geordie good, Geordie Jewish, Ben Vanderbilt. There we go.
Yeah.
He ran some improv things, and just too much running around for a fat person. Although I've lost some weight now, maybe I'll be okay at improv.
Yeah.
So,
that's it.
I'm joking there, by the way, but not very well. It just make you run around a lot, man.
Yeah.
And also, do you find it useful? Does it inform your stand-up, or do you find it's a completely separate thing?
I found that for my MCing comparing, it was just night and day, man. Absolutely. Just if I'd have done that like a year into starting stand-up in 2011, I was so much further on because I was terrified of going on stage. I was terrified, and I just had a load of energy, and that all went into sort of like either it going well or to anger. I was like, it's either I was either going well or I was getting angry. That was my default. I was like, why are you not laughing? I'm getting angrier. It's like the Hulk.
Yeah, some comedians do that. Josh does that. I get depressed and go into my shell. Yeah.
If I'd had that improv skill just to just change my perspective on it, it would have been it would have been brilliant. I would have had no fear because for the one time I realized that it worked for me was when I did a gig again for Mirth in Bristol. UEA, is it UEA? Yeah.
University of West of England, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. And it was we went on early, and
that was a good gig. I've got to tell you, that gig in Bristol, that was opening for someone another Jew. He, the guy he went up and pranked the Prime Minister and all that.
Oh,
what's his name?
Lee Nelson.
Lee Nelson, there we go. I opened for him, but like I kind of went on. I was the driver, an emergency mirth control driver, and it was the freshers week, and they hired out an exhibition hall, and it was like 3,000 people, and it was like my second year in comedy, and to this day it's still the biggest gig I've done in terms of numbers.
Awesome.
That was amazing. And people asking me afterwards, students like coming up to me, do you really have no balls and all that. It was really fun. with Faye Tracy. That was a fun gig, man. And Ola the comedian. Hey, yeah. Sorry, you're in Bristol, and I interrupted you.
It was great. It was just saying they started the gig. They started the gig early. You know, we did all the act, the break, and then the 3 middle acts as well. And then we had another break, and I was like, the headliner wasn't still there because I was like, because the guy said, do you want to start now? I was like, yeah, sure. Is that what you do normally? He said, yeah, fine. And of course the headliner was an hour away. So I was like, fuck, I need to keep these people warm. So I had to just MC my little heart out after I'd done level 1 improv. And I was like, oh my God, I'm actually doing this. I said, everyone's like, if you want a hand, I'll go back on again. I said, no, I'll just see what I can do. If I struggle, I'll tag me out, you know? So I did like 45 minutes of just messing about with the audience, having fun. And after, to be fair, on the 4th minute, we're kind of going, why is this guy still on stage? You know? But it worked. It really worked. Like, and I was like, oh, that's it. If I no problem, man.
Yeah, I mean, you were brilliant. When I saw you in Christchurch at that was another Mirth gig. When I saw you MC at Christchurch, you were like full of confidence, and it was you could see you were fearless, man.
It's great.
Totally, you were just playing with them, being in the moment. It was nice.
That's it, man. Yeah. That's where the joy is, like, where the fun, you know. But that's it, man. So like, I was just like, so yeah, you've got a lot of stuff in the tank to kind of keep going and kind of, you know, keep you motivated, mate. That's great. And so, look, Aaron, where can we find you?
I've thought of loads of worse gigs now. I've thought of much better worse gig stories, but it's just the way it is, isn't it?
Well, go for it. Well, if you want to throw one out at the last minute, okay, I need to take.
Well, yeah, like another mirth control gig, and we'd left. It was just one of those. It was up north somewhere.
Yeah.
It was up north. It was. Yeah, there's 2 of them I can think of. This one was up north, and we'd left enough time because I'm obsessive about time, but there was accidents on the motorway, terrible weather, and we got there 2 hours late, and it was in a hotel, and they'd been sitting there, they'd paid for dinner and comedy, you know, all their food, they'd basically been sitting there bored for an hour and a half by the time they sat with their backs to us.
Oh no.
As out of protest, and Sonos had to MC that and bring it round, and that was really hard. And then Archie Maddox, going up with him to Warwickshire to the Army Legion, and there was a guy in the crowd who was black, and his name was Darky Marky, and he just accepted it because that's just that. Like, he was probably the only black person in 100 miles, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm Darky Marky. It doesn't bother me. That's what it is." And the dude who ran it was homophobic and racist. And it's just you get used. It's just gigs, man. But you get to see different parts of the country. It's interesting, you know. Yeah. It is what it is.
That's true, man. That's true. You know, it's you know, part of life rich tapestry. Yeah. Okay, right. So look, you know, okay. Well, in the downtime, then what's the thing that makes you kind of like get up and just go, right? Okay, I'm doing this now. Is it just the ADHD?
Yeah, I like just get up. And first thing in the morning, I've got loads of energy, and I just got a list of things to do. I work through my list.
Great.
I mean, simple things: change the cat litter. You know, change the cat litter, play with the cat, take the trash out.
Cool.
You know, do the dishes. Every day there's bits, and I've got loads of life admin as well, and just get through the life admin. You know.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think it's right. The moment, like, life for a while there, was like life was so kind of like sedate that I was like, I'm literally gonna die with this fucking goddamn dishcloth in my hand, and it's not gonna be how I want to go out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what happened to Winter? Well, he just had a heart attack while I was doing the dishes. It's like, oh my god, no, that's not the end. That's not my epitaph. I don't want that to be the end of my career and everything. You know what I mean? That's it. That no one wants that.
But at least that's not bad. At least it was he wasn't doing the dishes. He died on the couch. It's better, isn't it? It's better to do the dishes than he died. He died with his cock in his hand, masturbating to porn.
Although, do you know what? Although, no, fuck it. He died doing what he loved. Fuck that. Like, you know.
Fair enough.
Oh, we've done it, mate. And Aaron, it's a pleasure talking to you, man. And
let me know when it's up, and I'll share it and all that.
Thanks, mate. So where can we find you, man?
Oh, right. Well, AaronLevene.com. So AaronLevene.com, or Aaron Levene Comedy on Facebook. That's pretty much it.
Okay, man. We've got videos on like your website and stuff we can check out. And all that.
There's a top secret video on there, and a couple of other videos as well. And information from 2 years ago when I was asking.
I think everyone's the same now at this stage, That's it, man. That's great.
Exactly.
Well, Aaron, Charles, Abraham, Moses, Levene. Pleasure to talk to you for an hour or so, man.
Winter, middle name unknown, Fernanda.
Great, man. Good to catch up, man.
All right, take care, dude. Have a good one.
And that was episode 97 with a very funny Aaron Levene. Go follow him on all the socials. His name there is Aaron Levene. If you ever see him on a bill, you will not be disappointed. He's a very funny man and a really lovely guy as well. He takes that show Jew-O-Rama around the fringes in Edinburgh, Brighton, all over the place. He does that with Philip Simon. I think Rachel Krieger does it as well. They've both been on this podcast later episodes. If you like this podcast enough and you want to donate, you can. Just go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast and donate as little or as much as you feel this podcast is worth. But if you can't donate, that's okay. Just tell your friend about your favourite episode because it tells people where we are and what we're up to. We also have a Comedy Defect Facebook page. You can like that. We also have a group. You can join that as well. I also have my own social media, which is Winter Dominus. It just tells people what I'm up to, actually, what I've been doing recently. I've been quite busy, been enjoying it, because I follow my journey and what I'm doing with comedy and acting and voiceovers as well. But it's really a lot of stuff is happening at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. But that's it for episode 97. Next month, we've got an excellent comedian. He's been so busy. It's great to see someone put in so much graft. His name is Lee Hudson. He's gigged all over the world. And I love watching his Instagram just grow. He's going to blow up soon. I guarantee you, man. I can't wait. But we've got an interview with him at the end of May. So until then, have a great bank holiday May weekend and enjoy the spring weather.